In the words of the late George Carlin, BS is the glue that binds us together as a nation. Here comes a ton of it. It's time for BSing with Big Nate.
Are you sick and tired of using those cheap, smelly blue masks? They always seem to break, and no matter what you try to do and fix it, it just doesn't work. Plus, they look horrendous, and they never fit quite right.
There's gotta be a better mask!
Now there is! Introducing the new limited edition 105.3 The Bear Mask. This 2-ply eco-friendly face cover is washable and reusable. And the best part about the new 105.3 The Bear Mask is that 100% of the proceeds benefit the Southwest Virginia COVID-19 Response Force. Get your new limited edition 105.3 The Bear Mask today.
Running dry, never a word without a lie. Still you fail to surrender. Everything's gone now, everything's gone. Not a victim, a plain one. Still too blind to see the sun. And you fail to remember. Everything's gone now. Everything's gone.
Welcome into another edition of BSing with Big Nate. I'm Big Nate. What you just heard there was Any Given Sin with Insidious, and I am joined today by singer, frontman, Mr. Vic Ritchie of Any Given Sin. Vic, thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, I'm proud to have you on. You guys are kind of killing it with Insidious. And it's nice to see a Virginia band that's not Lamb of God or War kind of get some recognition and have some traction. So first and foremost, you guys coming out of the Charlottesville, Northern Virginia region. How did Any Given Sin come to be?
So actually, years ago, I was playing in a different group, and the guitarist of Any Given Sin, Mike Connor, ended up playing with us for a little while. When I stepped out of that group, then he approached me and said, "Hey, would you like to maybe try singing with us?" And we wrote some tunes. The first one we wrote was Dynamite, and the second one we wrote was our last single. And then this one was actually the third one we wrote. So it just kind of ended up that way. But and after that, we went from there, and I just kind of joined something that had already been started, but we kind of took it a slightly different direction than where it had been.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you to pigeonhole yourself, sort of. I want to know, and I know pigeonhole is a terrible word, terrible phrasing, but I'm going to ask you to do something here. I want you to describe Any Given Sin's sound in 3 words or less.
Oh, wow. New dark melodic.
New dark melodic. I like it. And you know, it fits. For those of you out there in the BS with Big Nate world, if you haven't checked it out yet, you need to see Any Given Sin's video for Insidious, because it is new. It's dark. It's melodic, which actually kind of brings me to my one of my favorite points here is I was kind of someone who grew up on MTV and VH1, and music videos are very important to me.
Right.
You guys have a video for Insidious that it's not typical. First of all, if I'm not wrong, you don't actually see any member of the band's face.
That's correct.
So
How
did that happen? How did that come about?
All right, so that's interesting. So we were going to go into the studio and do some new songs. Coronavirus hit, and we had Insidious, and we really liked the song, and we said, you know what? We can't get to the studio. We can't put out a new single when we want to. Let's look at this one. And we really liked it, so we went after it. And so this was filmed during the coronavirus. And so what we did is we had a sheet and some lights, and we just, with our iPhones, recorded our parts. And then our guy, Tom Flynn out of New York, Nassau, New York, he did the other part, the really nice HD sections of it, and then tied us all in, put some effects on it. So that is the coronavirus video, 100%. Just put together how we could make it happen at the time, you know.
See, that's wild to me. That blows my mind because it's so well done. It's pieced together in a fashion to where I didn't even, like, I knew the video dropped in May, but I assumed like you guys had probably shot that in like late 2019, early 2020 before all this hit. That's insane, the turnaround on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that it was like from the time we decided we wanted to do a video to the time it was done, it was like 3 weeks, honestly.
Good Lordy. Yeah, I mean, there's a level of work there. There's a level of production that astonishes me. And maybe it's just where we are from a technological standpoint, where everyone's got iPhones, iPads, tablets.
Sure.
But it's just astonishing that we can still be separate, but also still produce a video of that caliber. Because honestly, back in the day, particularly like pop-up video is the one that always comes through my mind. Like that would be a pop-up alert because the coronavirus.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We're very proud of for what it was, for how it happened. Like we're extremely proud of it. And definitely any of your listeners and viewers, definitely go check out Tom Flynn. He does a lot of other bands' videos. He's got a really big repertoire. Just go check him out. You know, hook him up. You might like him.
How did that work from a shooting standpoint? So you all had your individual feeds. Like, do you just run through the song once, or like did you do like 4 or 5 takes? Like, how'd that work out for you?
Sure, we ended up just each member did about 3 takes of the song. We just kind of, and then Tom went through and just pieced things together and popped things in and out as they looked looked cool and righteous. Awesome. But yeah, it was pretty simple on our end, honestly. All the magic was on Tom's end, for sure. Yeah.
So what have you been doing to stay busy throughout all of this, other than obviously shooting a music video?
Oh man, I've been, I painted my entire house because I got bored, and had paint. I did that. My grandparents' house. We're renovating it, like just things like that, like weird household chores and things. And I mean, we were writing and stuff too, now and then, and just trying to do something.
So you bring up writing stuff, like the gears are always turning. Do you have anything that you think, like I kind of always try and put a positive spin on things other than the video for Insidious. Do you have anything positive in the works that is coming out of this whole time frame?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to be like a lot of, we probably got 3 or 4 songs that we're kind of working all at once right now. And all of them kind of probably have some, cabin feverness to it and trying to get back out and try, it's, you kind of end up, whatever you're feeling, you end up kind of writing whether you want to or not, so like whatever environment you're in, I think, yes, absolutely. There's going to be some, positive hope message out of this, as these songs are up out of this coronavirus situation, for sure.
All right. So I got to ask from there, what's on the horizon looking ahead? What do you see in the future, whether it be by the end of 2020, 2021, like what's going on with Any Given Sin?
So for us, we're starting back shows. It's looking like September 19th. We're going to be in Fredericksburg at 4 Mile Fork, or Hard Times at 4 Mile Fork. So that's our first one back. A lot of bands about probably our size are looking at like August, September to start rolling back. And, we're just kind of state to state, you've got different laws. So you're trying to tour. You got to, figure all those out and make sure you're hitting venues that you can actually maybe make money on. So it's for all bands right now, it's a really complicated kind of situation. They could shut us down again come September. So it's, we want to get out and play as much as we can, but we also have to be careful, from a business standpoint as well, like just looking forward, for sure.
And that's an intriguing perspective that I think a lot of the bands that are kind of starting out right now don't have necessarily the mentality to conduct it as a business. So, like, how do you arrive at that conclusion? Because I mean, you very much think from a business standpoint.
Sure. I mean, to be honest with you, if this was 10 years ago, I had no business mind at all. I was just like, let's go rock and roll, I'm 35 now, so it's like I look at things maybe a little differently than I did back then. But I think now with the climate, labels aren't getting on a label and just becoming a rock star isn't really what happens anymore so much. So you have to, if you're a band, you got to look at longevity. You have to push yourself for a long time to gain anything. So you have to be really careful about how you do that, or you'll burn out. You burn out either through capital or just through disinterest, one or the other.
What would be your advice to a band that's just, starting out right now? On the tail end of this, they got a bug up their ass and they decided, hey, you know what? I've been sitting around too long. I should do something.
Oh man, the first thing I'll tell you to do is if you're going to start a band, get some guys you really love to hang out with, because you're going to spend lots of time with them. So find some guys you love to hang out with and that you like to write music with, and start with that. And then, build your songs up, have a vision of what you want to do, have an idea of where you want to be, and set goals for yourself, and then achieve those little goals along the way. There's no formula to this kind of thing. It's really, where are you in the United States? How is your situation, compared to somebody else's? And you just really gotta know what you want. And then set goals to achieve that, real generally speaking.
I like it. So last but certainly not least, probably most important actually, is where can they find Any Given Sin, of course, to listen, to interact with you guys, to keep up with what's going on in your world?
Right. So you can hit us up, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon. We have our YouTube channel rolling. those are the main points. I think it's Any Given Sin Band on Facebook, and everything else is just Any Given Sin. And then you can hit our Spotify. Obviously, that's just Any Given Sin, and same on Amazon. So everything's there. Everything we have out right now is on all those platforms.
Excellent. So I've been chatting with Vic Ritchie of Any Given Sin. If you haven't yet, you need to go give them some love. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow them because they're going to be blowing up in a very big way very, very soon. Thank you so much for joining me today, Vic.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thank you for having me. I had a blast.